Hi, Sweaty Jen back again with another video. I feel like every time I make a video, I'm using a different camera. I did find a camera that I liked to use out of the ones that I own, which is this Canon PowerShot. However, I spilled an entire glass of water onto my laptop this morning, so now I need to wait for my laptop to dry and hope that it still works. So we'll see. Anyways, today's video is about things to say and things not to say to someone with hyperhidrosis. I took to the sub forum on Reddit and asked you guys what you thought, so a lot of these are from that list. I know I've experienced 99.9% of the items on this list. I'm sure you have as well. So let's just dive right in, starting with things not to say. The first is, ew. The second is, gross. Next, why are your hands so wet? Why is your head so sweaty? It doesn't matter. Everyone sweats. Why are you so nervous? Does the sweat smell bad? To answer your question, no, it does not smell bad unless we haven't showered, in which case anybody is going to smell bad. Have you tried deodorant? No. Have you tried changing your diet? No. Have you tried showering? Never. When they make a big show out of shaking your hand and then wiping it off. So they'll go in, shake your hand. Thank you, that makes me feel so good. You're sweating because you're stressing out. Just stop thinking about it. Just wipe the sweat off. That's perfectly fine, except it's gonna come back in like 0.3 milliseconds. What? Everyone sweats. That's not a disease. Have you ever tried Botox or surgery? There are way worse conditions or diseases to have. Why are you complaining? Oh wow, your hands or your feet or your head is dry for once. When you point out that it's dry for once, it's going to lead us to start sweating because we started to think about how we're not sweating. You'll grow out of it. I got told that a lot when I was growing up. Why are you so sweaty? We know we're sweaty. You do not need to point it out. It's all in your head. What the hell is on your hands? Relax, calm down, or just breathe. I think a lot of times people assume that because we're sweating, we're nervous, and that's usually not the case. It can be the case, but it's oftentimes not. Calling us a freak or a monster or another rude name just because we have a condition, it's similar to ew and gross. Those comments are completely unnecessary and rude and don't need to be said. And the last two are, you shouldn't have kids. I've never been told this directly, but somebody on the subreddit has, which I'm sorry to hear that again. But I have had it insinuated, like, aren't you worried that if you have kids, they're gonna have that condition too? And it's like, well, my parents didn't have it, so I feel like it's possible that my kid wouldn't have it. But also, if they did have it, I feel like I'm pretty well equipped to be able to help them live a more normal life compared to somebody who doesn't have hyperhidrosis raising a child that does. So it's kind of like, it's just a rude and unnecessary question to ask. Like, we've already thought about it, okay? And then the last thing is when you tell someone you have hyperhidrosis and they say they have it too. And, you know, if they have hyperhidrosis, that's, you know, great. Like, we just met another person who has this condition in real life. But it's most oftentimes someone saying they have it just because they sweat like a normal person. So, like, I've said to someone who, it was this person who was always wanting to give me high fives all the time, no matter how many times I declined. And one day I was just like, hey, listen, I have a condition It's called hyperhidrosis. I really don't like to high five, like I'm sorry. And he was just like, oh, I have hyperhidrosis too. And I'm like, oh, you do? And he's just like, yeah, when I work out and stuff, I start sweating like crazy. And I'm just like, okay, cool. So next is things to say to someone with hyperhidrosis. The first is nothing at all. That's probably the best and number one thing, if you're going to take it away from this video, is if you notice somebody sweating in your life, don't comment on it at all. Just act like you don't notice, because we're trying to hide it. So if you're acting like you don't notice it's happening, it's honestly the best thing to do. If we open up to you about it, say something like, I understand why this problem bothers you, but I don't mind it, or I don't judge you for it. Say, that sounds really hard. I'm here if you ever want to talk about it. What is something I can do to help you? Like for me, if I opened up and someone's like, what can I do to help you? I might say like, well, can I have like a washcloth to hang on to or something? For handshaking, not making a big deal out of us getting sweat on your hand or wiping it off discreetly afterwards. Luckily, I've encountered a lot of really great actors who have shaken my hand when I know it's dripping sweat, and they have just played it off so cool. They don't comment on it or make any facial expression at all. And it makes me feel better. It helps me forget that the incident happened way faster. Tell us something that you struggle with that makes you feel self-conscious. So like, for example, someone on the subreddit brought up a great one. They opened up to a friend about having hyperhidrosis, and that friend told them, hey, I don't have hyperhidrosis, but I do have psoriasis. And, you know, or like, any kind of condition that's affecting you physically or mentally even that you find embarrassing, if you tell us about that, it might help us feel like, okay, they don't completely understand what I'm going through, but they do to some extent. Something I think personally is pretty valid if someone's opening up to you about having hyperhidrosis is asking them if they've gone to the doctor for it. And it might sound kind of inconsiderate, but like, I know for me, I was opening up to people every so often about it, and nobody asked me like, have you sought help for this? Like, there are options out there to help you. Have you talked to a doctor? But finally, you know, my husband kind of asked me like, why haven't you seen a professional about this? It's really getting to you. And that kind of gave me the push to finally go seek help, at least. Telling us that if we do want to seek help, that you'll come with us to our doctor's appointment. It can be kind of nerve-wracking to go tell someone who we're not completely comfortable about, or someone we're not completely comfortable with, telling them about a problem that we have that we find to be mortifyingly embarrassing. If you come with us, it kind of takes the edge off a little bit, for sure. Telling us that you don't judge us. I would have never known you had hyperhidrosis unless you told me. This kind of validates that we've done a good job at appearing normal. Sorry, I keep messing with my hair. And last but not least, I'm sorry you have to deal with this. So just expressing that you feel sympathetic towards us and you understand that it's a difficult issue, it makes us feel better. Way better than saying like, why are you sweating? Why are you not sweating? Ew, freak, blah, blah, blah. Just be open, be understanding, be compassionate. That's all we really ask for, you know? So that's my list. As you can see, this is the not, and this is the two. So there's a lot more knots than twos. I do have one last thing. As you can see, my palm is kind of sweaty today. My hyperhidrosis has been flaring up like, what day was... I think since 2 days ago, it's kind of like the glyco's not really being that effective, even though I've been careful about not eating too close to when I take it. So I did message my dermatologist. We'll see what happens. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a lovely weekend. It's Friday today. I hope you have a really lovely weekend leading up to Christmas, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.